being compared whether you're compared I found something that you're being compared by the life of the thief. So compared so compared by the life of the thief. So compared so compared. My. If I came this way. That explains the trouble that I'm always in. 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 Just compared whether you're also compared just compared I found something for having bed just compared whether you're just compared I found something that you're being compared by the life of the thief. So compared so compared by the life of the thief. So compared so compared. What would I people are? I done wonderfully. Make him unshut. People are wonderfully. Ariel, what would I people are? I done wonderfully. Make him unshut. People are wonderful. That explains the trouble that I'm always in. That explains the trouble that I'm always in. That explains the trouble that I'm always in. That explains the trouble that I'm always in.
And good morning. We're going to be trying out something a little bit different. And to join me, I have...
No. You know what? I think like people's fear, like they always go like, number one fear, public speaking.
Right.
To me, it would be bowel cancer or something.
Good morning, Austin.
Good morning. Good morning. So that intro made me think, why is it that like all kids cartoons and movies and stuff have like the trippy acid scene, and like every single one there's usually like that one scene that's just like weird color palettes, very strange visuals, like the pink dancing elephants and stuff. Like what is up with that? It's in like everything.
I think it has to do with the animators and what they were on during the time.
Yeah, I could see that. Because I guess it did kind of stop. Hey, good morning. I guess it did kind of stop after a while.
And there's Wisp. Good morning, Wisp.
Good morning. Because I guess it really is just like 70s, 80s, like the earlier era of animation, isn't it? It's not really in a... Like if you pop on, I don't know what, Frozen, I don't think it has any trippy acid scenes, does it? I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
Not that I can remember, no.
Yeah, I guess it just was the period in time. Everyone was digging that LSD. I mean, you know, they were in there jacking off dolphins, so just the part of the times.
Well, I mean, there was a lot going on at the time, and with that, you also have animators such as Chuck Jones coming about.
Yeah, the legend, Chuck Jones. He really made like Bugs Bunny and all them stand out. He made it all come into itself. Wile E. Coyote and all that. I guess the Looney Tunes cast. That and who was the other big guy? It's Chuck Jones, and then there's one other dude that it's like they're
Tex Avery.
Tex Avery. Those guys, man. I used to love watching Cartoon Network for a while had a series where they would just play Tex Avery cartoons like every day as a tribute, and they'd give you some facts, like fun facts about it and about his life before playing it. Back when Cartoon Network was cool and did cool things.
You mean before the live action stuff?
Yes, exactly. That's pretty much when Cartoon Network fell apart, was whenever they were like, let's start doing not cartoons. And then now we're here where very few shows get made that are any good. And then if they are good, they get drugged through the mud after a few seasons and get ruined.
So I'm looking at Tex Avery right now. I didn't know he passed away in 1980.
Oh, yeah.
He was 72.
Yeah, exactly. He was old. He was old,
and
man,
then
back in the day.
Then you have Chuck Jones, who passed away in 2002. I remember that one because they had a whole segment on Cartoon Network of just his cartoons that he made.
Okay, so that makes sense. I'm imagining then that Chuck Jones was the guy who took over for Avery.
They worked alongside one another a lot of the time.
That's cool. Yeah.
And he passed away at the age of, he was almost 90. He was 80.
Jeez.
89.
What a trooper. Oh, man. Yeah, remember when things were better? I'm an old man now, aren't I? Back in my day, we actually had good cartoons.
we had things like He-Man, both the original one and the 2002 remake, which was really good. We had SWAT Cats.
Oh, yeah, I remember SWAT Cats. Isn't that the one where they had, like, jets, like jet planes and stuff? And then there was also the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
The animated Mighty Ducks where they're, like, super powered.
Yes. DuckTales, the original one.
That was solid.
We had, what was another good one? Tailspin.
That was a fun one, yeah. That was a fun one.
The one that followed off of the Jungle Book, but didn't actually fall off of the Jungle Book. It just had Jungle Book characters.
Yeah, that was always weird about it, because wasn't the main character Baloo?
Yes, it was Baloo, and I think his niece at the time.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember watching it. I don't remember what it was about. Because I also remember, like, Timon and Pumbaa.
I don't remember if Bagheera showed up that often.
One of the best cartoon miniseries was the Clone Wars. That one was really good. When they were like 2-minute sketches.
The Tartakovsky Clone Wars?
I think so. Yeah, the 2D, the 3D one. Yeah, the original one. Yeah, that was good. It got really good in season 2.
I mean, the man made Samurai Jack, so.
Ah, yes. See, Samurai Jack was pretty cool, but I never really got into it. And I heard the new season was actually not good. But I don't know.
It varies.
Yeah.
Or no, Tartakovsky didn't make.
I don't know who it is.
No, he did make Samurai Jack. He also made the Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab.
Yeah. The original, like the first season or 2 of Dexter's Lab before it changed art styles.
He was on it from 96 to 99 and then again in 2003.
Oh, so he came back. Okay.
Yeah. But after 2003, he dropped it again.
Because Dexter's Lab whenever they changed the art style, it just wasn't funny anymore. Like, even as a kid, I remember being like, I mean, I like it. I like the concept, but when they played reruns, the reruns were better. I always looked forward to the reruns. But whenever they're like, new Dexter's Lab coming out this week, I'm like, cool, I guess. Maybe it'll be better than the last one. Now, what was a classic was that SpongeBob SquarePants. That thing, that was revolutionary. What a phenomenon. It's like, it was essentially like, you know how the Minecraft phenomenon, where all of a sudden Minecraft was everywhere. When SpongeBob came out, man, SpongeBob was everywhere. Adults liked it.
SpongeBob was everywhere all the way up until 2012, if I remember correctly.
I mean, that sounds about right. I mean,
because SpongeBob
it was hard to go
started
anywhere without seeing it. I want to say it was like 2001. I might be wrong. It might be earlier than that.
1999.
Okay, yeah, 99.
Also, yes, Shere Khan was the top CEO in Tailspin.
Oh yeah, that's the tiger, right?
Yes,
Teen Titans. That's a good one.
Thundercats.
And okay, this is a good comment actually. We used to have things like Powerpuff Girls, He-Man, Teen Titans, and Thundercats. Now we have Powerpuff Girls, He-Man, Teen Titans Go, and Thundercats Roar. That's pretty good. It's like, hey, did you notice how we still have all the same stuff, but way worse?
Yeah.
Because Hollywood and all these creative types are creatively bankrupt.
All they can do is remake. They can't make anything new.
Yeah. So I'm actually more conspiratorial. I hear the whole creatively bankrupt, and maybe that is it, is that no one can write things anymore. But I'm more conspiratorial, where I think that this is actually an intentional, like, oh, you love this thing? We're going to ruin it to show you we can. I feel like it's more malicious than just like, we don't know what to do and we're unintentionally ruining everything. But that's just my conspiracy theory.
I mean, once TSR got out of D&D, it did well for 3.5. 4 was a travesty, and 5 is, the more I play it, I can't stand it.
Yeah. The one thing I'm thankful for with 5 is it was simple enough to introduce me to the concept. Because it's easy enough to just understand. They're deliberately hiring bad writers. Yeah, that could be the case. Which still I think would be malicious, right? If you're deliberately hiring bad writers. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
So them hiring on deliberately the bad writers does make sense, because there are a lot of things that have changed in how they handle the series, because they're like, oh, we're updating it for the modern day, or we're updating it for current day. I hate that term so much.
You know, the one thing I also hate, just to add on that, is when they say, well, we made this one because this generation of kids needs their version. And I'm like, no, they don't. They can just watch the old version like I did.
Yeah. Like, I can go back, because I have the original He-Man series on VHS as soon as I can find a new VCR.
I got a VCR. You need it?
Yes.
I don't have any VHSs. My dad was going to throw it away, and I was like, no, I'll take that. Don't get rid of that. Those are hard to come by.
They really, really are.
You just got to go to like a Goodwill on the right day.
I have the original He-Man series on VHS because my dad recorded it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I remember when you used to be able to do that. That's how we used to watch Star Trek, is we had one specific tape, and my dad would set it up so that he could record Star Trek while he was at work. And then he would come home and watch it, and we'd fast forward the commercials, and then he'd just redo the tape the next day. Just keep recording over the same one to watch Star Trek.
I also have the what is it?
Back before there was TiVo and stuff.
Disney. Three liberals.
What?
Hold on, I'll pull up an image of it.
Tres Cubra Libre? What are you saying? But yeah, while you're pulling that up, whenever they made the new Star Wars movies, one of the big things they kept saying is that the kids need a Star Wars. That's why we're kind of doing a soft reboot. And I'm like, what terrible parents wouldn't show their children Star Wars on DVD or something? Like, seriously? It's like, oh, hey, episode 7's coming out. I know, little Timmy, you've never seen Star Wars before, so I'm not going to show it to you. But apparently I'm a big enough fan that I'm going to take you to the theater to see the newest one, the 7th one. What the crap?
Caballeros.
What on earth is this?
It is a musical feature.
Oh, it's in Technicolor.
Uh-huh.
Fancy.
It's a very, very old movie.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this one.
It's not really a movie. It's more like a short. It's not very long.
Does that say a miracle musical?
Yep.
Okay, interesting. You've got that as well as what you're saying?
Yes, I have that. I have some of the old Looney Tunes cartoons. Without the warning.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have some of the banned ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One that I'm trying to find right now because I want to see why people make a big fuss about it is Song of the South.
Yeah. That was pretty bad from the few clips I've seen, but it could just be out of context. But I'm pretty sure it's racist. Isn't that kind of like public knowledge that Walt Disney was a racist?
People say that he didn't like the Jewish people, but there is absolutely no indication that he actually does hate them.
Fair enough. Yeah. I even remember just hearing about that kind of stuff when I was a kid. So I don't know. Could just be one of those things. You know, like how everybody thought you had to blow into the Nintendo cartridge to make it work? Like we all just, for some reason, everyone knew to do that, even though it actually broke your game.
Yeah.
Because you're putting spit on an electronic connecting point.
It was not only the NES, SNES, and 64, but it was also all of them. The Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, if it had a prong connector, for some reason you got a blow in it. Which, it turns out it was just that it didn't make solid connection. You just needed to take it out and put it back in. You didn't have to do the blow part. You can skip that step. just reinsert it.
Yeah. I agree with that, Wisp.
I do too. Brainwashing propaganda. Yeah. Which just ties back into my conspiracy theory that it's all malicious. It's not just, oops, we suck at our jobs and we're out of ideas. It's, hey, let's take those things you love and ruin them intentionally. Put new message in, be subversive, change the culture, whatever. I don't know. It's all dumb. I think it's to morally, not moral. It's
God, I hope not.
What do you mean taken out of context? I don't understand. Have I said anything wrong? Probably.
No, well, it's us, probably.
I probably have said things wrong.
We haven't broken TOS yet.
Okay, good. That's the important part. What was it called? I was going to say it's not, I said moral, but I meant, crap. My brain's not fully turned on right now.
Yeah. Austin and I are doing something a bit different where we're waking up at 4:00 in the morning Eastern time. and we're still getting used to it.
Yeah. What's that thing called? The word I'm looking for? You know it, right?
No.
you know the like your spirits morale.
Your morale, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like all of it is to break morale. Is to yeah.
Oh, Wisp did put in and tag me in something on the Discord.
Oh, what we got?
They are giving Jessica Rabbit a makeover.
Jessica Rabbit. That sounds familiar. Is it Jessica Rabbit? Is that from the
Who Framed
Roger Rabbit? Oh, really?
Mhm.
They're okay.
Here, let me.
What is
pull
she
up
going to
the
be
image.
like?
me
Overweight
pull up
with
the image.
pimples? Are they remastering the film with a new?
I don't think they're remastering it. Hopefully, they're not remastering it.
I mean, before long, the thing is, by moving everything to the digital age, it's so easy to just be like, well, that's gone forever now. Bye.
So
Yeah, Jessica Rabbit. Yeah.
they are trading in her red dress for a fedora. Disneyland is making Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin ride more relevant by promoting Jessica Rabbit for a femme fatale to a detective and the star of the show.
Oh. Okay. Who's this help? Is this for the kids?
This is for the kids.
Okay. Cool. All right.
But she was a side character to help the detective find her husband.
Yeah, it's an old trope. It's a character that's been done again and again and again in all sorts of noir detective movies. I don't understand. I have an article right here though from the Wall Street Journal. This is back in April this year. It's the creation of the first human monkey embryo.
What?
Yeah. You hadn't heard about this back in April? You don't remember the lab-grown creation
Oh, yeah.
major scientific breakthrough?
Yeah, I remember that now.
So imagine pigs with human hearts or mice whose brains have a spark of human intelligence. So I guess we're dumbing down the mice now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The whole idea for this, like the reason they're starting to crossbreed, make the chimera, right? This is chimera. The reason they're doing it is they're saying so that they can try to grow human organs for transplants inside of animals, and then study illnesses and drug tests, make it more effective. So your animal trials can then be animal-human trials without having to use actual humans.
That just sounds bad.
Yeah, and it says that the latest advances were done by researchers in the U.S. and China, and they announced earlier this month, which I said was April, that they have made embryos that combined human and monkey cells for the first time.
Dr. Crow, why did you have to remind me of that commercial?
Yeah, this actually ties in, though, to another article I read, which I'd have to try and find.
Once again, Alex Jones was right.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? So like right here, they're talking about the fact that all it is cells in a lab dish, right?
Yeah.
That's all. It's just budding cells in a lab dish. And then I remember reading an article earlier this year as well. That I'm pretty sure was after April. It might have been the Wall Street Journal, where the what is it? Is it the WHO, the World Health Organization?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was them that they had a board meeting, and they decided to remove the restriction to have that if you're growing cells after 4 days, you have to terminate it. You can't let cells grow past 4 days. And so now that's no longer a thing. You can just grow the cells. And then people who voted against it were like, wait, so you're saying you could just like grow a whole new species, test it, and do whatever you want on it, and then just kill it later? Like, is this ethical? And everyone's basically just like, well, that's not what we're saying. It's like, yeah, but you got rid of the restriction. And they're like, well, I mean, you're morally obligated to terminate it before it becomes living. It's like, okay, but you're not going to put a rule? No rule.
Wes does make a really, really good point. It sounds way too much like real life. Let's replace the plebs with dumb, easy to control hybrid slaves.
Yeah, so I feel you, because if you know the alien conspiracy theories, right?
Yes.
You know, like, so there's the
I've been down that rabbit hole one or two times.
yeah, so there's some people who say that like they try to tell you what type of I don't know, like there's this paper I read or whatever that was like the different species of aliens. And so the most common one is the grays, right? But there's actually 3 sets of grays. There's the tall grays and the short grays. And that maybe it's just the 2 sets. I don't know. I think there was
I think it's
sets.
2.
But the tall grays are the original species that have been hybrid. You know, like their cells have been manipulated. They've made themselves better, and
they've hybridized themselves.
Yeah, and then they use the same thing in reverse to make the short grays that are just like they're subservient slaves. And so, if I don't know, it kind of just reminds me of that whole thing, where it's like if we all of a sudden start like gene editing humans, why not make a subset of human? And like, here's the thing, it's not even humans, right? It's going to be these like human monkey hybrid or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? But it's not human and it's not an animal, so it doesn't have rights. So we just turn it into a slave. Like, I don't know.
Let's see. I remember there being something about how we've started being able to manipulate
CRISPR.
Is it CRISPR?
Yeah, it's CRISPR. Or you can use CRISPR to edit the genome of an embryo, I believe. Yeah, because you can have designer babies where you can change the eye color and stuff like that.
I think that came about in 2016 was the first time that they tried it, or 2018. I can't remember which one.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember either. I learned about these things and then just put them in the back of my head and keep moving on. Robot cat girls.
Yeah, didn't you hear Elon Musk was making cat girls?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I did hear about that. Is he still working on that going to Mars thing?
Yes, he's still working on that.
Okay, I haven't heard any updates.
The next rocket should be firing in October, if I remember the schedule that they had.
All right, right on.
Though NASA's next moon mission was supposed to happen this year, got pushed back to 2025.
Yeah, didn't it get pushed back after the election?
Yep.
Yeah, just like everything fun.
Oh yeah, we want to do this. We're going to start going into space more often. And no, we're not.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember whenever I was like early on in the new administration when Jen Psaki was asked about Space Force, and then she just like laughed at the journalist like, "Oh, yeah, that's Space Force, right?" It was like, we made it. We gave them a budget. It is a thing. You can't just pretend it doesn't exist. It's just like, oh, ha ha ha, Space Force, what a joke. It's like the first time we've ever added a new, or not the first time, obviously, but it's like pretty big moment to add an entire new branch to the military.
Yeah, it's the first branch that we've added to the military since 1950s.
Yeah,
Whenever
see,
we created the Air Force.
that's crazy, right? Like it's been so long, and then just pretend that it's like, oh, that's a joke because the orange man said it. It's like, well, it's actually a good idea. Like, because the treaty, I'm pretty sure the treaty didn't get signed for no nuclear weapons in space, and then space was declared a war zone. Something like 3 years ago.
I think.
So it'd be a good idea to have, defensive capabilities in space.
Yeah, I mean, there was, like, if I remember correctly, there was a video game that had something called Project Odin, which...
Oh, you're talking about the rods of God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an actual idea that has been floating around for a while.
Yeah, that was back in the 40s.
You use tungsten rods that are about 5 meters long.
That big, yeah.
Yeah, 5 meters long, and then about, I think it was 1 meter wide.
Something like that. They're really not that big. It's basically like a telephone pole made of metal.
Yeah, and it can level the size of New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now we have antimatter bombs.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, we have antimatter bombs. That we're, from what I saw, it was something like the problem with it, like they proved it in theory, and they're like, the problem with it though is the amount of space and money spent just to store antimatter. It makes it like irrelevant to use. It's just cheaper to use other stuff. But we have successfully used an antimatter bomb.
That's scary to think about.
Oh, yeah.
When antimatter makes contact with matter, it's
like 100 times stronger than a nuclear reaction. Yeah. I don't know. They were saying something like, if you had like the antimatter of a human body, the mass of a human body in antimatter, it would just destroy like a quarter of the planet or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because
it's just nuts.
It's like CERN and their particle accelerator trying to create black holes.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
Why don't you do that somewhere else?
Yeah, have you ever gone to their YouTube and watched some of their videos? It's very interesting because, like, they admit that they're trying to use this to find the God particle. To then, they think by doing that they'll be able to create a time machine and open up a portal to go back in time. And so, by making micro black holes, they think they can do it.
I mean, we don't know how. Well, we know what a black hole is.
Yeah, but have you ever played the video game Doom?
Yeah.
You know how they open up a portal to hell and demons pour out of it?
Yes.
You know how CERN has a giant thing and they're trying to open a portal to hell?
So what you're saying is CERN is the bad guys.
I don't think that they're intentionally being evil. I think they're doing something really stupid, though.
I don't know. Steins Gate said that they were.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Have you not watched Steins Gate?
No, not yet. That's the time travel anime, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Time travel, but not really time travel until they have time travel. That's the best way to explain it.
Okay. Yeah, I want to watch it sometime.
It's
probably
really good.
In the past. I'll probably watch it in the past.
Oh, yeah. Watch it while it's airing.
What? Oh, back when it was... Okay, yeah, I can do that. If CERN has their way. Okay, so here's the thing, right? You can't... based on, I mean, you'd have to, if everything we know is wrong, which very well could be, right? It very well could be, because it's science, it's ever changing. We're learning we were wrong about a lot of stuff and all that. And so if we're just wrong about everything, then fine. But like, based on everything I've seen, like, you could travel forward in time, but not backwards in time. Like, that just would be impossible to go backwards.
Well, there's a theory that time just loops on itself.
So going forward could be going backwards if you go forward far enough.
Yeah, kind of like that Futurama episode where they went forward in time so far.
Yeah, they go to the end of all time, and then it just restarts and goes around again.
In exactly the same fashion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I could see it as a theory. And then also, there's the string theory and all that stuff, and multidimensional
lines.
Yeah, which a lot of that stuff, like string theory, that's how we figured out antimatter, right? Was through string theory.
That's how we discovered antimatter.
Yeah.
That's
what I said.
We thought that antimatter was around, but we had no way of proving it until we actually did.
Mm-hmm. And like 99% of space is plasma or something like that. So that's an interesting one too. The fact that, like, I don't know how to explain what's in my head. I'm not smart enough. I know some of this stuff, but I'm not smart enough to actually, I think, comprehend it. Like, I just know it, if that makes sense. But like, comprehending the gravitas, that's another thing entirely.
Well, I've always enjoyed looking into things dealing with science that is actual science and not the mumbo jumbo that we're getting these days.
Mumbo jumbo? That's cultural appropriation.
Hey.
You should have said wombology.
Wombology.
The study of wombo. It's 3rd grade. Come on. You've studied wombology.
Yeah, I have. Sounds Lovecraftian. Yeah.
Wait, which part? All of it?
All of it.
Everything we were talking about? Yeah.
But
sorry, no, I'm crazy. I'm sorry.
Whenever the scientific method actually meant something, where you would create a hypothesis and your hypothesis would be proven
through
correct
trial.
or incorrect through trial and error.
I thought, if I'm not mistaken, the way that it was supposed to be, like the way science usually was done, was like, I have this theory, now I'm going to do everything to disprove it.
Yes, that is how you're supposed to do it. Now it is, all right, so we have our answer. Now we're going to prove it.
Yeah, it's kind of like starting at the end of the math problem, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the answer I want to get is 46. So then
I'm going to do everything that I can to get 46.
Make sure it's 46. Yeah. I don't know. That's weird.
But that's just how quote unquote science is these days.
Yeah, science is nice.
But then you have the actual scientific method being used for space travel and things like that. And some of the things that they're developing to break the barrier to get to Mars is way out there. And you would think that it wouldn't work, considering that it's being made on Earth to be put on the moon to shoot us to Mars. But
like we're gonna make a mass relay?
Yes, we're making a mass relay.
Okay, that's cool.
So we're going to take equipment from Earth, make a moon base, from the moon base, shoot ourselves from there to Mars.
Okay.
Mainly because the moon doesn't have as strong of a gravitational force as the Earth, so you don't have to expend as much fuel to get to Mars.
Yeah, exactly. Also, wouldn't you be able to generate more momentum or whatever?
Yes, you would be
Because
able to
you're
generate more
adding
momentum.
because I mean, if you're basically using the same amount of thrust we use to break out of the atmosphere, right? And you just did that in the vacuum of space. Holy crap! Would you be able to move pretty quick? You need something to slow you down when you get to the other end, though.
That's why you have thrusters on the top of the shuttles,
Right.
because that's how they land the mooncraft. They use thrusters to position themselves and slow themselves down. And then whenever they go to leave, they have a little docking port that is up in the moon's atmosphere, because it has a light one. So they put it in orbit around the moon. And whenever it's time to go, they use their thrusters again to get to that, lower themselves out, attach themselves, and then head back to Earth. And then they jettison that portion whenever they're entering the atmosphere.
So would the excuse me. So would it be that it's so it'd be like what, a one-way trip to Mars, and then the shuttle comes back though to Earth? Or what? I might have misheard you.
The way that they're wanting to do this is they want to have a three-ways communication.
Okay.
Through Earth, the moon, and Mars. So before we can get to Mars, we had to set up a moon base.
Yeah. Well,
and
don't we already have one on the dark side of the moon?
That is a theory.
And they have 3D printers, and they're actually printing the spaceship right now?
We haven't done that yet. We haven't been back to the moon yet. That's the idea of what they want to do.
Oh, okay. I thought China did that or something. Or the Nazis. Wasn't it the Nazis? Aren't they on the other side of the moon?
Possibly. Who knows? But they want to set up a moon base, build the equipment on the moon through the sources that they get from Earth and resupplies. And then whenever they do that, they want to go to Mars, set up a moon base, and get their supplies from the moon. Or go to Mars, set up a Mars base, get the supplies from the moon via the Earth, and then try and terraform Mars.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I think that's possible. Because, I mean, we found water on the moon, and then didn't we find something on Mars that might prove that at one point it had water as well? Because have you ever heard the theory? It's a crazy theory, but like, you know how there's that like the pyramid on Mars thing and the face on Mars?
Yeah, there is a face on Mars, but it's just the way that a mountain range looks whenever the sun is hitting it.
Right. Yeah, I'm not. What? I don't think there's actually a face or pyramids on Mars until, I mean, we got to go there.
No, it's just a mountain range. It's just a mountain range, and the way that the sunlight hits it makes it look like a face.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. I heard these theories. So at one point, Mars was like teeming with life, and actually like humanity came from Mars, or at least the Martians came here. So they built a pyramid and had us build a pyramid. And because their planet was dying, they used the pyramid as a teleportation grid to teleport from their planet to ours before their planet became a vast desert.
Are you quoting the Spirit Science video?
Huh? Oh no, I've heard. Yeah. No, I've heard about this way before him. But yeah, because he's the one that like says the Hebrews, because isn't his basically that the Jews are aliens?
Yes. The Jews are aliens, and they use the Star of David to get to Earth, and because they came to Earth, that was in harmony at the time, and the Jews wiped out Atlantis.
Yeah, dude, that no, I've heard this theory a whole lot longer before but I did find that guy, and holy crap, is he fun to listen to. Because it's just so out there. For the longest time, I thought that the spirit science guy and the who is it, the extra credits, I thought they were the same person because they have very similar voices and art styles.
Well, they're both just as crazy.
Yeah, good point.
Mars lost its atmosphere because it has no magnetosphere. Yeah. Its core is useless. That is also true. Solar winds could blow away what atmosphere and tons of water Mars had.
Yeah, so basically they used up their core or something would be the theory then, right? They destroyed their planet unintentionally, lost atmosphere, all that stuff.
If they got rid of their core and used their core for anything, the planet wouldn't exist anymore. It would collapse in on itself.
I guess, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But how do you destroy an atmosphere? That's the question, right? What do we got to do to destroy our atmosphere? I guess we just do what Bill Gates is doing, right? You heard that thing where he was saying we can spray iron particles into the atmosphere in order to refract sunlight back on itself. In order to stop global warming.
Thinking of using a big mirror too.
Yeah, I mean they made fun of that in Futurama, but this is then what's his name? There was a interview with I think the head of the CIA, and he said, "Yeah, we're going to try doing that in order to prevent global warming." And so, apparently we spray iron particles into the sky in order to try and, because you got to try it, why not?
Let's give us an answer. No, the weirdos have no idea about cores or whatever. Mars's core has the wrong composition, isn't spinning correctly, so it doesn't act as a giant magnet that creates a shield for the planet against the sun. Yeah, because our core rotates fast enough and generates enough energy to create a magnetosphere around our planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then how do we know why then magnetic north is moving at a rapid, it's moving more rapid than it ever has?
So the planet, the way that it works is we're supposed to have a pole shift every so often to where the magnetic north and the magnetic south do a 90-degree and then jump right back to their position. And we have been overdue for that for about 100,000 years.
How can we say we're overdue for it, if we haven't been recording data and tracking it? Because how it's one of the funniest things whenever it was a few years ago, our local newspaper said the most rainwater my small town has ever had, ever. And I'm like, how did you know that? Because your data only goes back to the 70s. How could you say this is the most rain we've ever had?
Because you can check so one way of checking the rainwater is whenever they are doing logging work, looking at the rings of the trees that have been there for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And if the ring is very, very wide, that means that there was a lot of rainwater that year.
Oh, that's cool. All right. So there is ways to just, trees, man. Best things ever. They're actually bad for you according to modern politics.
Do what?
Yeah. They produce methane.
What?
Hey, that's what they're trying to teach kids now. All right. I don't know. I'm no scientist.
Trees produce oxygen.
Yeah, I know, but apparently they're bad for us. and so is cow farts, right? And so they just started teaching wh- what is it called? They started teaching cows. They're potty training cows. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. This whole world we live in has gone screwy.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look that up real quick. I want to see the article.
Also, with brought up, we're overdue because of our geology samples that we have.
Okay, geology.
So
That's so vague to me.
by looking at the layers of the Earth, you can see what, or you can make determinations of what happened during those time periods. Because that's how we found that the Younger Dryas actually occurred.
The what?
The Younger Dryas. There was a comet or asteroid, I can't remember which one, that made impact with the Earth and created a more temperate zone. So what happened with that was we had more oxygen in the air than we should have, and it caused mass extinction because the animals weren't used to the change. And then over time, the Younger Dryas period leveled out. Our oxygen became normalized again, and we moved on to the next period.
Oh, is that the whole like how the dinosaurs got killed thing?
The dinosaurs got killed by a different one.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not that smart. I don't know all this stuff. I'm more of a fan of modern history. So I don't know any of this stuff. I'm not smart enough. But here I got a little article here by NPR that says calves prove cows can quickly be potty trained. So yeah, potty training cows.
Wait, I was thinking of a different period. So the Younger Dryas was a return to glacial conditions, which temporarily reversed the gradual climatic warming after the last glacial maximum, the last ice age. So we were supposed to be coming out of an ice age at that time, and because of the impact, we went back into an ice age.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, science is weird. So, okay, so we're supposed to be having a pole shift. It happens every now and then. Has one happened since humans were around? I guess that's my question.
What?
Has there been a pole shift while humans were around?
No.
Okay, so is that just leading into the whole thing of like when the poles shift, it's going to kill everybody?
No.
Because that's what I think some people are saying, and I don't know.
How does potty trained cows prevent methane farts?
I don't know. They have like colostomy bags or whatever, so they catch all the farts.
Oh yeah. Pole shift hasn't happened yet while humanity has electronics, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, there's a lot that may mess up our electronic equipment.
Can't the sun do that if it has?
Yes.
Like a solar flare could potentially EMP the planet. Like, I don't know.
That's why we have our magnetosphere, though.
Yeah, but that's a very good point. That's a very good point. So we better not ruin that.
But if it is a large enough solar flare, it can eliminate our magnetosphere.
Right. Yeah. But what was I gonna say? So we're in this really dire situation. I don't think a lot of people have noticed. Not a lot of people know how to do stuff because like all of our jobs and industries have shifted from like actually making things to service economy. You know, like delivery drivers,
Yep.
bar hopping, bar hops, that kind of thing. Because like remember whenever the Keystone pipeline got shut down, but whenever the what was it called? It was the colonial pipeline.
Yes, whenever
Right.
that got hacked.
Yeah. So in the testimonies after that whole situation, I was reading about the testimonies, and the guy who runs the colonial pipeline, because they asked him like, why didn't you just have people manually turn the machine back on? And he said, sir, none of us know how to do that. In testimony, the people running these things no longer know how to do it because computers do it. So what happens when all the technology goes bye-bye, even for one day?
We lose.
We lose. Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. Dude, I don't know. One day I think would have a huge ripple effect. 2 days, people would start to panic. 3 days, mass riots. That's what I would think. Mass riots, everything burns down. Because people don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know. They don't know how to hunt or fish on average. I mean, you got the good old boys, but that's about it.
Yeah, but I think if we don't know how to get these systems back online, and there's no book, there should be books with them to show them how to do it.
Okay, so I'm not going to say where I work, but I work at a place. Okay.
I also work at a place.
Yeah, and one day we had a machine go down, and so they were like, "Oh, well, let's get the manual." And so they dug through some old files and everything till they found it. And at some point in like the 70s or 80s, and I guess it was like 80s, late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there, they had a genius idea of digitally preserving, instead of having the manuals, to transfer all the data onto floppy disks. So we were like, wait, so we found the manual to fix the machine on outdated technology that we don't have a way to access because none of our computer systems have floppy drives.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking the old one, like not the actual floppy disk, right? The like 16-inch or whatever it's called. Like the big ones.
Oh, the ones that were for the computers the size of a room.
The actual floppy disks, right? Like how they got their name, because they're like paper. They actually go.
Yes, I've
they're
seen
thin
those.
and giant. Yeah, so that's what our manual for the computer was stored on. I guess not. Well, it was technically a computer, but the machine that went down. For some reason, it was stored on. So, like, yeah, you're right. They should have books. But for some reason, at some point, we decided, hey, it would be more advantageous than having all this paper lying around? Floppy disks. And then at no point between now and then had anyone realized, hey, wait. We need to get this manual back because it's on a floppy disk.
So whenever I was in the military, we had a manual to tell us how to turn on, turn off, the proper procedure to do both, how to troubleshoot issues, and how to do particular maintenance. And we had copies on the computer, but we also had physical copies.
Yeah, see, that'd be good. It'd be good to have physical copies. Yeah, that's a big one. Like the other day, I was listening to that Tim Pool guy, and he said something like, "It's really people should have survival guides installed on their phones." I'm like, "What? What if your phone dies?
No, you
Buy
should
a
have
survival guide."
a physical copy.
Yes, get a
Always go with the physical
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah, so that just leads into another problem that kind of ties back into like with all this stuff going so digital and everything, it's so easy to just get rid of it. What's this? Some crucial infrastructure in better countries is better insulated in case of solar flare. That'd be lots of mayhem though. At the very least, the ICUs will be screwed. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because we don't know if the generators will come back up.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Though the generators in a hospital are usually about a mile deep to prevent them being affected by a solar flare. But at the same time, we don't know how bad a solar flare can actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say this isn't something we
affected.
could just like, what's the word? Because not test. It's a test, obviously, but I mean, it's like where you actually have the real thing happen to make sure that it can survive it. It's like you make a bulletproof vest, so you better shoot it with a gun to make sure it works. Before you put it on, stress test. I don't know, real world. I don't know what the term I'm looking for is, but with everything being digital, okay. So this is my problem with brain chips. All right, this is my problem with brain chips. If everyone's connected to the internet, and so you can just at any time like think the answer to a question, and it's like, oh, cool, you just search the thing. Then what happens if the company that runs the website or whatever that you're accessing to know the thing changes it? Are you just gonna? I don't know. You're just not gonna. You're only gonna know what is being told or presented, I guess I should say. And if everything's digital, that's why we need physical things. You got to have physical stuff. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, I was replying to Glitch.
Oh, okay.
But I am one for always having physical copies. It doesn't matter the medium or the media, excuse me. Like I have all of my books, all of my comics. I have physical CDs instead of the digital copies. And I like physical media.
Magnets. You need magnets. They're important. People don't realize how important they are. They're miracles.
Yeah, says the one that used to go up to the TV with a magnet.
Magnets. They're amazing.
They make the TV change different colors.
Yeah, they do. I don't think they do that with the newer stuff, though, do they? It has to be like the old CRTs.
Yeah, the old CRT TVs. They're funny thing is,
It's because of the tubes.
there is a third party add-on for the laser blaster for the NES to make it work on flat screen TVs.
Yeah, right. Because
Because it worked on the curvature of the screen
what was it?
and the tubes.
Because all it does is it just checks. That's why, like, whenever you would pull the trigger, it would flash black with a white dot because it's checking to see if you actually hit. It's pretty interesting technology. Yeah, but you're right. It doesn't work unless you get an add-on.
Yeah, I know CDs have a very limited lifespan. So do the vinyls
Everything is
that
better
I
than
have.
the cloud. Yes, everything is better. Yeah, well, even a book has a limited lifespan.
Depending on the conditions that you leave it in.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. Yeah, nothing is permanent. It's just the fact of life. But hey, I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be right back.
All right. While he is away, how's everybody doing? Yeah, I've noticed that with my vinyls. I have vinyls from the 60s that are definitely melting away. Fire tends to break a lot of stuff. Well, fire can also create. I mean, it helps forge swords, right? Books and stone, if preserved right, tend to be the best information storage device. Well, yeah, that's like the Rosetta Stone, the Tales of Gilgamesh were all preserved in stone. And we found more of Gilgamesh's story. So stone is definitely one of the better ways of preserving information. Books as well, because I mean, who's going to mistreat a book? Well, I know who would mistreat books, but the ones that actually care about literature and the state of their books will not mistreat their books. I mean, that one's okay, Crow. That one is okay to mistreat. It likes it. Gilgamesh, the original Chad. Yes, Gilgamesh was a badass. And I need to read up more on his story. Fire makes swords by breaking ore.
All right, I'm back. I decided to put
Hey.
some water on boil. Make some coffee.
All right. We were just talking about how books and stone, if preserved correctly, tends to be the best information storage devices, such as, the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Gilgamesh.
We find a lot of preservings on rock. So yeah, maybe we should move back to that. If we really want to keep something, you carve it in stone. But even that can be weathered.
Well, if it's preserved correctly.
Yeah, put it in a tomb.
A tomb or a cave.
Yeah. A man-made
and seal
tomb.
it off. Seal it off, never to be seen again.
Yeah. Yeah, we just gotta... I wonder how those time capsules are doing.
I have no idea.
When are we supposed to open them up?
Which one?
I don't know. I just know there's a ton of them.
I know
I remember basically we even had school project that it was okay, class, we're putting a time capsule.
Yeah, I think my school's time capsule for whenever I was in elementary school is supposed to open up in 9 years.
Yeah, and then immediately everyone is going to get canceled.
Boy.
They're gonna open it up, and then by today's standards, they'll be like, "Oh wow, everyone who went to this school is a sexist homophobe."
We found graffiti from ancient Egypt at resting spots in the desert, reading "I was here" and such. We've been doing this since
writing
the
on the
dawn
wall.
of man.
Yeah. It's perfect. You got to bathrooms whenever archaeologists dig up our old rest stops and everything. They're like, wow, They really were fascinated with penises. This ancient culture. They drew dicks all over all of their walls.
Yeah. What a boring short time for a time capsule. The time capsule that I did was back in 98. So I was around 5 years old at the time. And by the time that 2040 or 2030 rolls around, I will be almost 40. So yeah, that's a bit short, honestly.
Yeah, they should wait till like you're 50 or 60, right? That'd be better, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be much better. Though I'd have to go to the school and find my time capsule again. Because they have it marked with a little marker made of stone.
Because it's the best. Rock,
I mean,
the ultimate tool.
oh, I know about some of the graffiti from Pompeii. I also know about their quote unquote red light district, that all of the road leading up into it was just dicks.
That's amazing.
Let's see.
Like, do you
I'm
think
pulling up the graffiti now.
you think after we all get like wiped out or extinct or whatever, and like future civilizations look back on us as ancient civilizations, they're gonna think like all of our comic books and stuff were like people we worshipped, like these were deities?
Probably. Let's see.
What do we have here? Oh, I think my water's boiling.
Tavern of Verisundus. Or I'm bad at the language. Take off your tunic, please, and show us your heavy privates. Weep, you girls, my. Oh, oh, these are great. Amplicatus. I know that Icarus is buggering you. Salvius wrote this. Below, a drawing of a man with a big nose. No. You said this, and this one broke me. This is science. This is archaeology. This is history. YouTube, don't censor me.
All right, I'm back. I got my coffee. So what's some highlights here that you found?
That one.
Weep, you girls, my penis has given you up now. It penetrates men's spines. Goodbye, wondrous femininity. What? Oh, that's amazing.
This one is cool.
Oh, that is nice.
Sekinda says hello to his prima, wherever she is. I ask my mistress that you love me.
This is interesting.
I screwed the barmaid.
So graffiti has been something people have loved to do for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's just human nature. Because I've always wondered why so many people go to the bathroom with pins. And so I guess back in the day they carried around, I guess pittons, right? They'd have pittons and a hammer, or just some way of hammering, or just use the pitton itself, just bang it against the wall.
Yeah, they would just hit it against the wall. Alpha Diaz was here. Goodbye.
People like the "was here" thing.
I have buggered men. Let's see. What's another good one? Adamedius got me pregnant.
What? Okay.
Okay.
What an interesting thing to share with the world.
I screwed lots of girls here.
Sure you did, buddy. That's interesting, though.
Philaros is a eunuch.
So human nature seems to change ever so slightly, but not very much. Because, like, how old are these ruins?
This is Pompeii.
Oh, this is one place.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They found a lot.
The one who buggers a fire burns his penis.
Interesting.
That's some deep philosophy right there.
It is. Yes, it is.
My lusty son, with how many women have you had sexual relations? On April 19th, I made bread. In the gladiator barracks.
Geez, this waking up early thing is starting to get me tired.
Really?
I think once I start,
Adjust.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say I think once the sun comes up, I'll be doing better. Or like once I actually start working, I think my energy level will rise. Because when I first got up, I went out and did a little jog, and got my blood going, and it felt good. But now we've been sitting down for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm all of a sudden being like, "Yep, it's dark. It's time for sleep." But
I think that was a good thing to leave off on, because I got some things I gotta do right before heading off to work.
Yeah, sounds good. It was fun.
So,
I look forward to chatting with you again.
do you want to do this again tomorrow?
Sure. This is a fun way to start my day, and I always love having conversations. And I'm glad I'm so shocked, but I shouldn't be, that people actually listened and had interesting things to say.
Well, Wisp and Crow are good friends, so
they must also not be in our time zone. Because I don't think anyone else is up right now.
I think
except
the only one
Graveyard
that
Shift.
would be Crow. Wisp is not. I know that.
Yeah.
But it has been a great morning, and I will see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah. Ta-ta for now.